It's time to set sail for Halifax.
How much higher we got?
We got about another 3 feet.
Where some of the most beautiful views await.
If you're getting 3 or 4 cannons fired at you, you'd figure, hey, this is probably not a safe spot to be, right?
Yeah.
The Mackenzie Tour PGA Tour Canada traversed its seas and docked for the HFX Pro-Am presented by Steele Jaguar. It's a region steeped in history, and players arrived ready to make a little history of their own. Some were driving for consistency.
Golf is an interesting game in that I think it teaches you to be humble very quickly.
While others aimed for perfection.
Didn't really look at a leaderboard all day, just try to put my head down and just make as much birdies as I can and see where that put me.
We explore all that and more from Nova Scotia next. This is the Mackenzie Tour PGA Tour Canada. After 2 consecutive weeks in Ontario, the Mackenzie Tour PGA Tour Canada made its way to Nova Scotia for the inaugural HFX Pro-Am presented by Steele Jaguar. This unique event featured a best ball format for the first 36 holes, pairing 64 amateurs with 128 professionals to determine a champion. The Mackenzie Tour pros then continued on to the weekend to compete for the 7th title of the year. And although the Mackenzie Tour has visited the region before, this was the first time at Oakfield Golf and Country Club. The Par 72 course is widely recognized as one of Canada's premier golf facilities. Designed by Graham Cook, the 6,700-yard layout presented another beautiful challenge. The HFX Pro-Am represented the start to the second half of the season. And with Corn Ferry Tour cards on the line, the race for the season-ending Canada Life Championship heated up. Paul Bergeron took the pole position after his win at TPC Toronto at Osprey Valley, becoming just the 2nd player to win twice this season.
It's great. Whoever wins is probably, going to be pretty on top there. So my goal is just to keep playing on this tour and trying to make as many cuts and getting my chances in the weekend. That's probably my biggest goal, is just, not to be too far after the first 2 days and just kind of getting a shot at it coming on Sunday.
But with 2 W's on his card as well, Jake Knapp, who led the Order of Merit for 4 of the first 6 weeks, is in hot pursuit.
You always have it kind of in the back of your mind. Once you get into your round, you're not thinking about it too much, but week after week, you're definitely kind of peeking at it and see where you stand. I'm just trying to win. I know if I can win 3 times this year, that's going to put me in a really good spot. The goal this year was to get a win, but the legitimate goal was to actually come out and win 3 times. So if I can get 3 wins, it's a lofty goal, but I think that it's definitely doable. And I've been out here a few times, so I know what to expect, and I feel like I can expect that out of myself.
Teeing it up in Halifax for the first time, Hayden Buckley entered the HFX Pro-Am presented by Steele Jaguar with 4 top 10s on his resume, including a T5 at the Osprey Valley Open the previous week. He occupies the 10th spot on the Order of Merit and is poised to make a run for a Corn Ferry Tour card by season's end. We caught up with the 23-year-old University of Missouri grad in this week's On the Bag.
I had 3 good weeks in a row, but really kind of a mix of some good weeks were good ball striking weeks with bad putting weeks, and then actually last week I ended up switching my putter. I didn't feel like I was making enough putts to get to that level of winning, so went to a store on Monday, found a putter I liked, grabbed it, started making everything last week. So it's kind of just waiting for that little mix of when can I hit it well and putt it well. I think we're getting pretty close. I grew up in Tupelo, Mississippi. Kind of grew up playing baseball. That was my biggest passion. They kind of looked at me when I got to high school and said, you got to pick one, golf or baseball, and I decided to go with golf. It was something I loved doing. I went to the University of Missouri, which was tough, driving 8 hours away from home and going to college and being away from friends and family and meeting everybody new. It was a different experience, but I think it's something that really kind of helped build into this career that I have now. Yeah, they say everybody's supposed to be really nice. You're like the nicest people here or something. You don't get honked at much on the roads, Like back home, you get honked at by everybody. My college roommate played on the golf team for a little bit. We became good friends. I'm sitting there every night in our apartment and he's playing guitar, annoying me a little bit, while I'm trying to sleep. So finally I looked at him and said, all right, you got to teach me how to play. I actually bring my guitar every week. It's something I enjoy doing. It kind of keeps me calm, kind of gets you back to, just relaxing and having a good time. And, really it's hard not to enjoy a little bit of music while you're doing this. I'm from the South, so, country music's always been a part of my life, and I really enjoy, some of that a little bit older country, kind of that older sound. Chris Stapleton, he's got some pretty good music. Brooks and Dunn's pretty good too. It's funny, me and my caddy, we listen to a lot of the same music, a lot of different music, so we've been kind of doing whatever we want to do, dance, electronic, rap, country, everything before we get to the round, or just hanging out. So it's been a fun little experience for both of us. He quit his job, actually, believe it or not.
Did he really, eh?
He was living in Denver, Colorado, and he decided that this might be a little more fun. Travel Canada. He's caddied for me before, a little bit on the Corn Ferry Tour. I think it works pretty well. There's times where he probably hates me, but I like to give him a little bit of crap sometimes, just for hanging out with me all the time. And if I hit a bad shot, it's his fault, right? You build a lot of friendships, but at the same time, you're out here and it's your job. So it's really not, you really can't complain at all. It's a really fun time, and we get to play a lot of cool courses and go to a lot of cool cities. So you really just can't beat it.
Coming up on This is the Mackenzie Tour PGA Tour Canada.
We were right there. You had it, Wes.
Thanks, man.
Players Paul McConnell, Wesley McLean, and Jared Betcher are hanging up their golf bags and earning their sea legs while getting a taste of life on the open waters.
It's time for a water.
All that and more next. This is the Mackenzie Tour PGA Tour Canada. Nova Scotia, located in eastern Canada. This province is home to over 300 attractions spread across 7 major regions. And with everything from camping and kayaking to boat tours and wineries, Nova Scotia has activities that draw people in from around the world. The province is one of 3 maritime provinces in the country and is famous for its high tides and seafood. Nova Scotia is also quickly becoming a must-see destination for world-class golf. Home to Canada's first true links course, Cabot Cliffs, as well as other great courses, Nova Scotia hosts a wide range of courses for golfers at any level. This year, Oakfield Golf and Country Club plays host to the Mackenzie Tour PGA Tour Canada. But this isn't the region's first brush with professional golf.
The Cape Breton Highlands National Park Golf Links, a course carved from solid timber in scenically beautiful Nova Scotia.
Back in 1965, Shell's Wonderful World of Golf held a tournament in Ingo-Nish, Nova Scotia at Cape Breton Highlands. The match featured 2 Canadians, George Knudsen and Al Balding, facing off on the one-of-a-kind links-style course that echoes golf's Scottish roots. "48 years later, the Mackenzie Tour finally made its way to Cape Breton Island for a 5-year run, where players like recent PGA Tour winner C.T. Pan claimed victory in Canada.
Trailer Park boys just landed in Nova Scotia. Back at Nova Scotia.
Even the notorious Trailer Park boys of the Mackenzie Tour were there to highlight their experience with personal cameras.
We are on hole 6 at the Cape Breton Classic. Just got done walking up that big slope, but check out this view up here. This is the signature hole here at the golf course.
For the Trailer Park boys, admiring the beauty of Cape Breton wasn't hard. The sweeping hills and lush greenery are only a couple of reasons why millions of people flock to Nova Scotia every year. And this year, the Mackenzie Tour headed back to the province, to Halifax, for the inaugural HFX Pro-Am presented by Steele Jaguar. Located in eastern Canada, Halifax is the capital of Nova Scotia and a major economic center. The city consists of 9 major regions, including urban and rural destinations, many of which sit right on the Atlantic Ocean. Popular destinations along the coastline include 150 functioning lighthouses, from the Sambro Island Lighthouse, the oldest working lighthouse in the Americas, to the ever-popular Peggy's Cove Light Station. And while the coast offers no shortage of fun sights, Downtown Halifax holds many popular attractions as well. From the Citadel National Historic Site to the Central Library and Boardwalk, downtown Halifax blends a rich past with a modern cityscape that constantly excites visitors, no matter where they're from. Since its beginning, Halifax has always been a desirable hub because of its location. And during the 18th century, it was locked in a powerful struggle between the French and the English over who would control these valuable waters.
Oh, oui, oui. Ah, yes, jolly good.
Ultimately, the British took over the harbor and brought in their navy and army to trade between Britain, North America, and the West Indies, making Halifax one of the most profitable harbor towns in Canada. Later in 1906, the Canadian government gave the Brits the boot and took over the naval metropolis. Today, these waters still act as a trademark of Halifax, contributing a large source of economic income and tourism. And for Mackenzie Tour players Wesley McLean, Paul McConnell, and Jared Betcher, it was only fitting to test out the merchant life for themselves.
How are you? Welcome aboard.
How's it going, sir?
My name is Mitch. I'm the captain today.
Wesley McLean.
Awesome. Welcome aboard. We're going to go for a sail around Halifax.
The players boarded the schooner, the tall ship Silva, with views of Halifax's historical waterfront on the agenda. But in order to ride this historic tall ship, they had to put in a bit of elbow grease.
So what you want to do is you want to keep it fairly level.
Okay.
Elena's going to be a bit higher.
Am I getting outrun by a girl?
Yeah,
That's good.
The toughest lesson? Hoisting the sails.
How much higher we got?
We got about another 3 feet.
Oh, shit. This is that last little pull.
Final squat.
Zach's got it.
The sails will collect as much wind as possible. So what we'll do is we'll swing the boom out, basically kitty corner with the masts. So it'll be perpendicular off the mast, catch as much wind as possible. And captain will be controlling the rudder. Rudder is nothing more than a piece of wood or a piece of steel that turns in the water and turns the boat either port or starboard.
As the players put their new skills to the test, the option of quitting their day jobs to take on a life at sea slowly begins to fade.
Yeah, coming down.
Yeah.
They wrapped up their crash course in sailing, and it was back to the harbor, but not without taking a few memories home with them. Coming up after the break.
This is my 4th season out here, so really learning just week in and week out to be patient, even within rounds, you know, to be very, very patient and just kind of stick it out.
We sit down with journeyman Jake Johnson as he strives to reach his goals. And then, the action at the HFX Pro-Am presented by Steele Jaguar heats up, and a familiar name is at the top of the leaderboard. Lorens Chan has been knocking on the door all season. Can he finally capture the title, or will a big-time challenger emerge? Find out when we return. This is the Mackenzie Tour PGA Tour Canada. Let's see what's happening in the world of golf in this Social Minute. Over on the Corn Ferry Tour, Mackenzie Tour grad and self-proclaimed coffee connoisseur Max Rotliff was pitted against Ben Polland when they were asked to create their own roasted blends before the TPC Colorado Championship.
Good coffee to me has a essential has a fruitiness to it, but also like a chocolatey flavor to it actually.
I am usually partial to coffees that are at a higher elevation, and I think you were telling me earlier that Ethiopia is kind of the highest green that you guys have, so I think I'm going to go with that. And just to contrast Max's decision, I'm going to go with a single origin instead of a blend.
Not that we roast it, but the people decide on who makes the better coffee.
And the people did decide, and Rotliff was the champion. Speaking of champions, after his win earlier this season, followed by 2 more top 15 finishes, Canadian Michael Glickig secured his PGA Tour card for the 2019-2020 season.
Gives me goosebumps just thinking about it, but pretty excited. Wouldn't be able to do it without the support of my whole team, so just wanted to thank my wife, family, friends, my caddy Dave, all my sponsors. Thanks guys, appreciate it, and look forward to 2020.
Big congratulations to you, Michael, from the Mackenzie Tour, PGA Tour Canada. Working his way back to the Corn Ferry Tour, Jared Wolfe is keeping sharp in Canada this summer with 2 top 10s, while another veteran, Jake Johnson, is working to do the same. We first met Jake back in 2004 as a young hopeful, learning the values of the game through the first tee, one stroke at a time.
It's definitely teach me to keep my calm out on the course, about sportsmanship and respect for yourself and your teammates and opponents, so it's been great.
Fast forward 15 years and the 29-year-old's attitude hasn't changed.
Golf is an interesting game in that I think it teaches you to be humble very quickly and be very patient, and I feel like that's something that I've really learned over this journey out here is just the importance of patience.
But since 2016, the Northern California native has been struggling to find a rhythm on the Mackenzie Tour PGA Tour Canada, only reaching as high as 93rd in the order of merit.
This is my 4th season out here, so really learning just week in and week out to be patient, even within rounds, to be very, very patient and just kind of stick it out.
Johnson has shown signs of improvement thanks in part to his fiancée, Lorena Barca, a professional mental health coach with the New York Yankees.
She gives me some tips in terms of how to deal with the adversity that you experience out here, because no matter how good you're playing, you're going to experience some type of adversity. So being able to have a really good process and have a good way of handling that failure and adversity, I think, is huge.
The process is working. Johnson posted his first career top 10 this season and climbed to a career-high 20th in the order of merit, heading into the HFX Pro-Am presented by Steele Jaguar.
In terms of more of a short-term perfect world, obviously would love to finish out the season strong and have another couple good finishes and get inside that top 5. I feel like I'm in a position where I can do that. So obviously finishing inside the top 5 is huge out here. Being able to get that access on Corn Ferry Tour next year and kind of just keep progressing, that would be the perfect scenario.
Coming up, the competition kicked off at the inaugural HFX Pro-Am presented by Steele Jaguar with an early standout posting a record-breaking score and ended with a first-time winner. On This is the Mackenzie Tour PGA Tour Canada. This is the Mackenzie Tour PGA Tour Canada. Drew Love came out swinging in the inaugural HFX Pro-Am presented by Steele Jaguar. With 8 birdies and 2 eagles, Love completed the first round with a record-breaking 60, which bested the course record by 2 strokes, placing him at the top of the leaderboard and looking good going into round 2. After shooting 71 in the second round, Love ended up withdrawing from the tournament due to an upper body injury. However, making a big jump from 6 strokes back, Lorens Chan posted a bogey-free round of 9 under par with 7 birdies and an eagle, putting Chan at 15 under par going into the weekend and in a tie with Stoney Crouch for the lead. With another bogey-free round on day 3, Chan built a 1-stroke advantage over the field. But with 6 players within 3 strokes in the chase pack, including 2-time winner Jake Knapp, Chan's work was far from over. Starting the final round, Chan got off to a great start with a 40-foot eagle at the first.
The goal was just kind of 2-putt from 40 feet, and for it to go in was just a bonus, and it set the tone for the round.
However, there was still work to be done to close out the tournament, and when he followed the eagle up with 3 straight pars, things looked like they might be slowing down for the 25-year-old.
It was a long day. Got off to a good start, made an eagle on 1, and then just kind of in the middle of the round, just kind of struggled to make some putts. Didn't really look at a leaderboard all day, just try to put my head down and just make as much birdies as I can and see where that put me.
Closing in on his final holes, Chan had no idea where he stood on the leaderboard and was happy to keep it that way in order to focus on his game, not worrying where everyone else was finishing.
I knew there was a leaderboard on 17 green, but I just didn't look at it. I don't need any more pressure. I'm trying to make the putt regardless if I'm down 10 or up by 10.
With the support of those closest to him, Chan closed with a final round 68, coming out of the week with his first win.
Starting Friday, I got a lot of texts encouraging me, friends, family, this is your week, just keep going, keep pushing. I try to just keep kind of telling myself that it's your time, just go out and take it.
Winning his first Mackenzie Tour event is exciting in itself, but getting to share the moment with his mother, who had been caddying for him all season, made the moment so much sweeter.
She's been my biggest cheerleader I mean, since day one, and she's a good caddy. She doesn't really say much on the bag. I just kind of plots along, and I'm happy that she made it. It was a bit hot the last 2 days, but it's really nice having her on the bag.
The UCLA grad was in good company at the top of the leaderboard. Chan finished the tournament sitting just above good friend and former teammate Jake Knapp.
Yesterday, we were texting a little bit, just telling each other, let's make it fun tomorrow. Let's just finish 1-2, whatever it is. So, it worked out.
Finishing in the runner-up position with a score of 22 under par, Knapp has had quite the season. Adding this second-place finish to his 2 wins and third-place finish from earlier in the year, Knapp is currently sitting in the #1 spot in the order of merit. Chan has had a very successful season so far as well. He has the 3rd best scoring average on the Mackenzie Tour at 67.29. And with 4 consecutive top 10 finishes already, this win took him from the #6 spot to the #3 spot in the order of merit with great momentum moving forward. Next time on This is the Mackenzie Tour PGA Tour Canada.
Now from Ponte Vedra Beach, Florida, Tyler McCumber.
We're packing up and heading west to Edmonton, where last year Tyler McCumber dominated the field for the 2nd time en route to the top spot in the order of merit.
There's so many guys in the hunt, and they were going to make a run at it, in which they did. And so, you know, it was really important to kind of get off to a good start and just kind of keep the pedal down.
And this year, we're kicking things off with a brand new event, the 1932 By Bateman Open. Only 4 events remain before the big season finale in London. Find out who will climb to the top of the leaderboard. Next time on This is the Mackenzie Tour PGA Tour Canada.